Hey there, welcome back. Today we're on a new video. Now I know I wanted to try and do something new in the last video, but I think going forward, what we'll do is we'll try and do a new thing in one video and then follow it up with a optimization or how we can do something better. Because obviously for the first time we just want to kind of put something together and then test out the fun, and then add some another layer of functionality, and then of course we can always go back and work through it if we have our own time. So with that being said, I think that going forward, we've got a new window here, and we're in the modeling mode because we need some prototypes, and I don't really feel like getting some assets here. And what we're gonna do is we're actually gonna be creating a spaceship. Yeah, yep. One that you can possess, drive around, pilot, stuff like that. And we're going to mount our turrets to it because why not? I need something to mount turrets to, and I thought vehicles. I thought of vehicles, and I thought cars were kind of overused. You don't see many spaceships around, so let's do that. So I'm in the modeling mode here, and you can get this by going in the modeling mode. I had to actually find my toolbar here, my shapes toolbar. It was hiding behind like an extra window that I slid down, and there's like a little blue arrow in the corner that I had to click for this tab. It was just like it was a whole mess. But anyways, so welcome to the modeling mode here. Now I want to create like a modular spaceship type of thing, right? So you have like wings and you have like various cockpits or engines, stuff like that. So I mean we're gonna need to make some room, so time to get out of here, boys. Goodbye. Ooh, doo, doo, doo. Now I'm not really sure how I want to make this. Um no, that one's not getting deleted for some reason. Anyways, getting sidetracked. I'm not really sure how we're gonna do this, and I don't really want them to be cubes or anything. So I guess we'll just like start off with maybe the cockpit. Um, and I guess we're just gonna make it like a custom. I think we'll just do like a box and something like this. I think maybe we'll just take like the sphere tool. I think maybe something like this. I wonder if we can try and center it though. That kind of looks centered. And then if we sink this in, kind of gives us a like an alien spaceship type of vibe. I mean, now we're not really resizing these. We're just using a default size. I think that's fine. Okay, so now we got two shapes. This is pretty good. I mean, I guess we should probably add like maybe a nose cone to it. Got a cone here. That looks pretty good. Yeah, sure. I mean, honestly, these default shapes, they come out pretty good. Although I think I actually, oh, yeah, we'll create this. We're good on the cone. I think I actually kind of wanna. Let me see if I can stretch it a bit, something like that, and then let's move it, and then I will Alt Shift the box to drag two more out. Okay, okay. I mean, that's not bad. That's pretty good, actually. Honestly, I think if we wanted to, we could probably just let's see. I'll open this up a bit, something like that. That kind of looks like a cockpit to me. That's great. Um, right. So now let's go ahead and just select all these. So we'll shift click and collect all these up. Let's go to the. Is it here? Nope. Wait, it should be here actually. Merge. Yes. Accept. Now we have one static mesh. Fantastic. Look at that. That looks like a nice little cockpit for a modular ship. Nice. Now where right, now where did this get saved? Um I always forget where this keeps getting saved to. Whoop. Ah, here. Sometimes I'm a little slow on this. Yeah, we can just click on this combined mesh here, and we can go down here and we can just find it. Now we got the combined mesh. I'm gonna F2 and I'm gonna rename this to like spaceship cockpit or something. Oh yeah, so that's pretty good. I'm gonna move this out of this. I'll leave this folder open. I'll go ahead and just move this into maybe the normally this content would be all the static meshes. I'll create a new folder here for now. And I'll just name these assets. And we'll just move it into these folders. So where are you located again, Mr. Cockpit? Right over here. Fantastic. Go ahead and just toss you right in there. There we go. And since I guess we're going to be using the basic default sphere as a lot of the like, how do you scaling, I guess, is what you want to call it. Yes. We could easily build out a nice like spaceship here first. Because all we're doing here is we're just going to drag out some basic shapes and just use the basic shapes, honestly. And just kind of just put them together and just see what we get. Yeah. I mean, we're creating maybe wings here. I mean, we need like a maybe like a central thing here for it, and then maybe we can have maybe another one for the tail. And then we can divide these up into pieces. Yeah, I think that's fine. So we can shift click these and we can actually just merge these together. Hit accept. Go ahead and merge those. And now we can edit it as one mesh. Which is nice because I think I'm gonna... Oh, what did I click there? There we are. I actually wanted the scaling tool here. Because we're gonna go low, like that, and yeah, sure, that's fine actually. And then we're actually just gonna go out. Maybe not that much. And we'll go ahead and just align this, I guess. Well, that's a fine wing, I guess, right? I mean, for now, we can always we're going to be putting a we're going to be putting this into like something else. Well, actually putting on the actual assets and stuff like that. So I think this is good. So now let's see, where's click on this combined here. Let's see, we've got here we go. This one, it doesn't look like it was it updated? No, it still looks like a box. Hold on then. Which one's this one then? Why is this one funny? Huh. Weird. Um. Hmm. If I do if I just save everything, does that work? I don't know. If I hit the if I just control V, C, control V, it happens. Does it? Oh, it's still like. Oh, I guess because we technically no, we technically just scaled it, but that shouldn't matter because we did that scaling over here as well. Huh. Let's see if I can do the tail pieces here. Just go ahead and merge these. I think I'm just gonna make them boxes for now. Yeah, see that? Okay, so this is fine. Huh. Yeah, I don't know why that would be like that. Anyways, we can create this centerpiece as well. Since we're just using, yeah, we're just using the boxes for scale. Let's go ahead and just merge these together. Let's go ahead. Where's this mesh? Center. Let's see here. Let's move those in. Put those up. We know those. And what about this? This, I mean, I guess because it's like scaling, I guess you could theoretically just do this by in code. Um, but what if we took this cone? Yeah, create that. I rotated it 90, and I scaled it this and this way. Moved it like that, and then I selected this one, or is it this one? And I can do, where is it? Come on, where is it? Am I just blind? Oh. Oh wait, I think I need to do this the other way around, right? Because if it trims with this, right, it's trim. If you trim it with the second one, that's not quite what I wanted. Oh, I see. Actually, you know what? You know what? I see what I need to do. I see what I need to do. I actually need to do. No, not that. I need to move this here. And actually, we can scale this up a bit, more like that. And then, ugh, I wanted to all. No, no, that's control click. Whoops. Alt click this. Drag this to here. Or here, something like that. And then maybe we can create a wing out of that. Because we can do this. Merge, accept, take this for this one, this, trim, accept. And it's still, and then I think there's a, no, I think there's a fill, if I remember correctly. Oh, there is, but it didn't do it the way that I wanted. Okay, well, pancake wings it is. Actually, that'd be pretty cool because we can kind of put the effects in the middle here, and we can kind of have like a little underglow, I guess. And I guess snapping's a little weird, but nah, that's fine. Yeah, well. Oh, wait, I think I tried with the poly cut. Huh? How did this work again? Oh, is it what? Was that what I was looking for? Cut it with an extruded polygon. Hmm. Wait, what's the polygon that it's extruding? I'm not sure. But this kind of gives me an idea. Not right now though. I think what we'll do is we'll just take the pancake wings for now. And we'll call that a day. Now we need to go in. We need to probably just create a. We need to create um a thing here for our controller. So we need a custom controller here. We'll need a custom character. And we're actually going to need a few more things than that. And I don't really want to spend some time on it because I think I've already gone over it. So I'm just going to skip back in when we're ready to construct what we're going to construct. All right. I'm coming back here for a minute. So the quick update will be that I created a blueprints folder. Inside the blueprints folder, it has, voila, our blueprints for our game. Now each one of these is set up with their own thing, with their own interface, and with their own as function for each interface as well. So I can just take a look, and so you can see each one. It has our actual thing, and then it has a interface to go with it. And that's with all of these here, and they all have basically the same method. It's an as of whatever with the return type of the interface, and then when you add it to the here, you fill this in with just the self reference, and that's it. And I did that for all of them. The player controller and player character I have yet to fill out. A little note though about the player character, because we will be possessing spaceships basically. The interface is actually just called player because that's all it is. It's whatever you're playing with, or I mean, I guess you could call it pawn, but who cares? Code name I used also for the endings here is Starfire because a star as in spaceship and fire as in firing bullets out of turrets. I don't. It was quick. It was, I don't know, but yeah, that's what I did. Player controller and player character has nothing in it yet. It's just created. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna copy everything over from the third person template and put it in. I might also move the inputs into this folder, into this folder as well. In fact, you know what? I'll go ahead and just do that right as I'm talking about it. Might as well. We use those for our controller. I'm just going to move everything from the third person in, and I'll test it out and see if it's working. And once it's working, we can move on to possessing some spaceships. All right, I've finished up the migration here, and all right, yeah, I mean, I guess just copying and pasting, but I've done something that you might have not seen before when it comes to possession, because normally when you're like, oh well, what do I do when I possess something? How do I set up the controls, or like, you know, stuff like that, right? I think that's a pretty decent question to answer, that we have to answer, right? You possess something, how do you control it? But also, how do you, like, you know, how do you share controls? Like, you know, you have this player controller, but you're like, well, I need to change these references, I need to do all this nonsense and random stuff, I guess. So anyways, rant aside, thank you. Thank you for allowing me to rant. We did something slightly different here. In the player interface, I added movement. Okay. So it's prefixed with the pawn, and then it's whatever input action, look, move. We have roll because we're going to be controlling a spaceship. But you know what? With these, if you don't have a return value, they're optional. So I created these for the player, and each one of these matches to the normal input action. So like the looks are vector 2Ds, the moves are 2Ds. The roll is actually a float because we only need to go in one axis. And you set that up in the input action. I copied the move, but then realized it was 2D, and then just had to realize to change the little value to 1D, add the trigger modifier for negate, and whatnot. So yeah, I added those two. Let's see. And yeah, for the input actions here in the roll here, you add this roll, and then its axis 1D. and then you add it to the here, and then I made it E and Q for the IA, and then for the Q here, you add one modifier, negate. You know, that's how you go from +1 to -1, that type of thing. And so let's see. So with that, we also have something similar. We don't have anything in the player controller because we don't need it. Now, starting off in the player controller, we had the begin play. I set up the begin play here, so that adds the controller mapping context. And then in the event graph, instead, what we do, so here's the begin play. In the movement now, well, we first oh no. When we first possess something, we cast it to that interface, so that pawn, and then we set the pawn reference down here. And then we can go into the movement. And from here, we can just simply call these interface calls now through this. So instead of using these in like the player character, we can now use these in the player controller with the pawn reference. Now, I think I might need to add a check in here to see if this object is valid, because I think during possession, you might run into an issue where it might try and add an input. You might get a null pointer or something along those lines. I just have to double check that. But yeah, so in the player character, we had all these optional interface calls here for the movement. We have regular as. So we have all these optional things. Now here we just copy over and we just implement them as is, because interfaces, as you know, are something that we can share functionality between two different objects, basically. So we're going to be sharing it between a character, and we're going to be sharing it between another possessed pawn, like the spaceship. So off of this is this is where you can just copy and paste it. You split the struct bin, just add your stuff here and just copy it over. Simple enough. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and make another one of these for spaceship, and we'll be back. I'm jumping in again because so yeah, I was creating this pawn, right? And I realized when I'm building this, I'm creating these static meshes, right? Oh yeah, don't forget to put on your collision for these if you want them over in the static mesh. Just do a simplified box collision if you want in the drop down menu. I realized that this double wing design is actually pretty neat to look at. It's very interesting. I realized our double box wing actually does a good job of being a tail if we align it correctly. I don't know, it's just a little thing that I noticed. Pretty cool. But yeah. So yeah, I'm just adding this stuff and we'll see. We'll see how this comes out, because we'll put this into our level. We'll add an interact interface here. And we'll get the possessing this, and we'll set up the movement. Make sure you set up this the class settings with your interface for your movement here, and make sure you fill this out. But I haven't filled this out yet. I was just going over this, and I was just like, man, this looks pretty cool. But yeah, so I'll cut back in when I'm start working on this, and I'll show you how I'm doing it. And yeah, we can go from there. All right, I just wanted to do another quick update. I haven't gotten to the movement yet here, but I added the targetable interface here that we made before, so we can get the target location. I set this to a default as the cockpit location, which is fine with me. The lookout position, which is the arrow that was just on screen here, somewhere. Here we go. The arrow, and so I added the 2 turrets. We have 2 turrets now attached to the wings. We can make these. We can model these if we want to make them like ball turrets or something like that, if we wanted to. I did notice a little bit of an issue here is that line of sight. We're gonna have to do a line of sight check in these turrets. That's whatever. Yeah. So I added the targetable interface to the player character, because I completely forgot when I was just like testing this out. And yeah, and then so I threw it into the scene, and let's see how it looks now. Okay, we got some turrets. We got turrets on some spaceships, and now if I jump, they start targeting me. And then if I go out of their range, they stop targeting me. If I go in their range, they start targeting me. This is fantastic. All right. Can't wait to get to this movement so we can actually possess this thing. Nice. Spaceship looks cool too. Welcome back, everyone. Well, I've got probably the final update for now. So I've got the spaceship here. So what we have a spaceship with 2 turrets. We've got a camera. We've got pawn movement now added. So we added the pawn. I added the pawn movement. I added the camera boom, the camera. The camera boom, the settings for the camera settings are right here. So inherent pinch, inherent yaw, inherent roll. I think this is actually a good system that I had. It might need a little work to do some like lerping between things and making things a little bit smoother. But I think this is all right. So that's what I did here. Then in the event graph here, a note. I noticed something. We don't actually need the roll. I'll just recycle it for something else. Because when you're rolling, you can use the A and D keys instead. So that's what I did. Yeah. So the spaceship only has now 3 inputs technically. So in our look, what we do is here we take the cockpit here and we add a local rotation, which is the X. X here, delta X goes into the yaw, and then the Y goes into the pitch. I don't know why, but it just looks good that way. I don't know. The move, the delta X here goes into the roll, so that's obviously our roll. Oh, going back to the look, the X is actually like the A and D keys here. Or no, the look is the left and right. It's yaw, and then pitch is up and down. Yeah, that's what I meant. Something like that. And then for our jump, we're actually reusing the jump. Maybe we could use our own. Maybe like I don't know. Jump is spacebar, so I guess it's okay. Anyways, we're going with the cockpit here. We're getting from the cockpit, so this is going to be mostly the central location for the spaceship. And then it takes the forward vector, it multiplies this by 1, and then adds the input vector into our movement. So yeah. And then I put together a new spaceship cannon type of thing here. It's just a copy of these, so I just copied them up, added it, created a new projectile. So this is a new spaceship cannon projectile. It has a range of 2,000 with a cooldown of really short. And then the actor that I made for the projectile here is just a little bit of a scaled static mesh here with a laser texture. Now I believe the laser texture, which is funny enough, is actually in the editor by default. I think it's part of the starter content, which is cool if you want this cool effect. But yeah, I mean the possession right now for when I'm playing it, it doesn't possess. I'm not doing the possession. I think I'm just gonna do the possession on my own and maybe just like create like an update of it. Because honestly, I don't know if I really want the character anymore. If that's, I mean, that just sounds weird. I just don't know if I want the character anymore. And you'll see why. You'll see why. Anyway, moving on from that stuff, we have we did the inputs here, for this. We did new projectiles. I set up this. Oh yeah, I set up the spaceship turrets to use the new cannons here. And so their final result looks pretty sick. The one thing that I did notice, yes, we will probably have to put in, or at least myself will have to put in some sort of line of sight because it shoots through the bottom of the ship if there's a target. Now, that's not really a problem, but it's a little bit a little bit of an obnoxious problem to have. So, anyways, hopping into it. So we get when I move the mouse up, we go down. When I move the mouse down, we go up. So it's like a traditional flight control type of thing. Always invert that. If I press A and D, we get a roll, like so. If I press W, nothing happens. If I press S, nothing happens. So we can see that, and then spacebar is straight. We got this, we got pitch, roll, all this fun stuff. Then if we come up to one of these targeting boxes, these are the targeting boxes that we've been using. We can see we start shooting, pew pew pew, and then we're gonna start flying. We can roll and fly. We can just shoot. We can come around, and you'll see if I do this wrong, it'll shoot to the bottom of the ship like this, and it just behaves a little weird. But otherwise, like we can just fly up to these boxes and it'll start shooting. Now we don't really have very many effects for flying yet, so it's a little hard to tell like when it's flying and when it's not doing um when it's idling, because right now it doesn't have any sort of acceleration either. So if I just stop hitting spacebar, which is our movement, we just stop in air. That's it. Um yeah, I'm not really sure about acceleration yet, or like having a dynamic sort of pull system, gravity system, I guess, for the spaceship, or I don't know, maybe down the line we can. That's what I've got so far. And it looks good. Yeah, it's a little weird though because it's also a little weird because it stops midair. Like you expect it to keep going, but it'll just stop in midair. Although I guess, if you're in space and it's kind of like, a advanced piece of technology, I guess you can kind of get away with it. Um, but yeah, I think that'll conclude for today. I don't know if I actually want to do doing the possession right now, or maybe we'll see. Let me see how much time I have, and let me see how fast I can put this together if I can. But yeah, sounds good to me. Let's go.